Hello and welcome back to a Mad Men Big Finish review, a video series where I review some of the latest Big Finish releases. We're back with Once and Future. As always, I'm with Professor Pixel, my fellow sufferer, as we listen through Once and Future. And for this one, we're kind of suffering. To a degree, we're kind of suffering. But for this one, we're going to be talking about the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50, the 5th release in Once and Future. David Tennant takes charge as the Doctor, not the 10th Doctor. He just looks like him. But we're going to go into it with spoilers, so if you haven't listened to it, go ahead already. Now, we're officially past halfway with Once and Future. We've thrown in this new plot point that he can now
regenerate.
He can degenerate into future bodies now. But
he couldn't before. So what happens is that he arrives on Planetoid 50 as Stephen Noonan as the first Doctor. Brilliant.
Great to hear as always.
We miss you, Noonan. Why don't you comment on our videos anymore? You're busy. I get it. But always love hearing Noonan. I think this is one of his first ones, if you think about it, right?
Yeah, because this was recorded in
2020. Yeah.
Weird. So weird.
The interviews are really weird. Oh, yeah. I wonder if there'll be a vaccine one day.
Weird step back into time of 3 years ago.
Because it's the first one that they actually recorded. And
I think Baker's was recorded first. Tom Baker's.
I don't think so.
While you continue talking, I'm going to go. I'll have a look.
What happens is Noonan arrives. He's settled for right now in his first phase. The Doctor arrives and he meets a new mini companion for this story who really doesn't have any weight at all. But that's fine.
Jessamy. She's fine.
She's fine.
I like Jess. I like Jessamy in this story. She's fine.
But the Doctor recognizes something's wrong here. So this is London. Okay, where are all the people? You're saying this was invaded? This is Victorian London. It was invaded. War of the Worlds? Really? What? And he's like, I don't like this. Not one bit. Someone's meddling. The way he says meddling. But yeah, he wants to get to the bottom of it, and he invites Jessamy along to explain more. And that's when they run into one of the Martians.
The Martians.
Yes. And the Martian has a gun. It's got a gun. And the Doctor feels, wait a minute, I'm sensing something familiar. Energy that's familiar. And the Martians go ahead and they use a weapon, shoot the Doctor, and the Doctor starts to regenerate. So it sends him forward instead of back. So he goes too far, and the 10th Doctor appears, and he's like, "Whoa, what is this?" And he recognizes, new face, and this is weird. But he has so much energy, and it is fun to have the differences in the old gentleman and the spry new suit. I
looked it up. Yeah, this as far as we know, this was the first one they recorded.
Yep, I'm pretty sure they say that in the interviews too. Okay,
I must have missed that in the interviews.
So yeah, and so that's how David Tennant is able to be in this story that is not past the 10th Doctor. I can eat crow. Okay? I can eat crow. I was wrong. I had hope, the small hope that it was future and future going back, but that's fine. And actually, I am more fine with it as we go through the story, because who is our main antagonist in this story? Missy.
Yes. So Missy is here. It is revealed that she has orchestrated this entire War of the Worlds invasion on. They are on I keep forgetting the place.
Planetoid 50.
Planetoid. No, but there was another name for it.
Oh, I can't remember.
The first Doctor said, "This is where I'm supposed to be. This is it, isn't it? Why does it look like Victorian London?"
Yeah, because she built it.
Because she built it. So Missy's built it, and the revelation that Missy is also being affected by the degeneration weapon.
But it's not just the degeneration. Yes, she's affected by it, but she built the weapon that the Martians used on the Doctor, and Missy isn't supposed to be here at all. It sent the Master too far forward. That's what she says. She's like,
yeah,
I was trying to settle myself back, but I went too far. And the future's looking mighty fine. You agree, Chris? You simp. No, but
she's a beautiful woman. What are you trying to say?
But they have so much. They have such chemistry.
That is the highlight of the story. Is just David
Not
and
my
Michelle's,
boyfriend.
David and Michelle's chemistry with each other in the story is magnificent. They play off each other so well, and it's so funny. Just like it's not 10, so it's not the whole Last of the Time Lords. So how he's approaching meeting the Master again is just so funny and different. Because when you have it with Saxon Master, it's a bit somber. It's like, we're the only two left. I know what you're doing is bad. I have to stop you, but we're the only two left. We need to be together. We're the only ones left. And with Missy, it's just like, shut up. You're annoying me. Stop talking. And it's so much fun. Even if it wasn't 10, I feel like the first Doctor would still act the same as well. Just being like, be quiet, woman.
Just
Stop
a
with
different
your
way of
incessant
handling
talking.
Stop it, woman. Yes, I can hear it now. Damn you, Noonan, you're in my bed.
But no, like, and then we have the Paternoster gang. They're involved with this as well. Jenny
fun.
has been made a servant, a brainwashed servant to Missy. Strax is in hiding, and Vastra is a prisoner, forced to go locate the Doctor for Missy. They're great in it as well. I love everything about them as well. This it's so good.
You know this episode reveals though?
What?
That the next Paternoster Gang box set, which has an episode directly, the final one in that story that's upcoming, is about a wedding with Jenny and Vastra, a proper wedding. And Jenny says, "Oh, you were at our wedding." So yeah, that goes ahead and that's a thing. So we should see 10 there. Though that doesn't explain why Strax doesn't really recognize him.
Well, no, they know it's the Doctor, but it's just a different face.
But no, the way that Jenny talks about it, it sounds like she's saying that him.
I think she's just saying that the Doctor was at their wedding.
Because his appearance snaps her out of it. Snaps her out of servitude.
Yeah, I don't
know.
It's weird. I don't know. But even then, like, I looked up in the notes.
Wobbly.
I looked up in the notes on the wiki page, and it notes that it leaves it ambiguous whether the Doctor knows Vastra and Jenny. And the comic The Lost Dimension, I'm reading it here. While the comic The Lost Dimension implies he only met Vastra after becoming the Last of the Time Lords, the Doctor here talks of knowing Vastra. But it is mentioned that his memory's on the fritz.
Yes. So he has a future memory that hasn't happened yet because he's not. Which is supposed to be how, this is why he's acting like this. That's why he's acting. And he does what you were saying before. We're the last ones. We need to stick together. The Doctor says that to Missy. We're both suffering through this. Come with me. We can find the answers. And Missy says, no, it would never work out.
She just gives him a clue.
Yep.
Take the dirt with you. Go to the Union. Find the Union.
Yes.
Yes. So this story overall is a lot of fun. This is a really, really fun story. boosted by the performances. David, as always, is amazing. Michelle Gomez, fantastic. Chews up every scene she's in, especially with David.
Fun thing, when you listen to the interviews,
she ad-libbed.
Yeah, she's not in the interviews, so I guess they just,
because she was doing a show.
She was filming. She filmed all of her scenes in New York, and they loved recording with her because you never knew when she was done. David said, "I never knew when she was finished. I didn't want to interrupt, but
yeah, that's right.
That's what you're worried about, cues."
Yeah, everyone in here does an amazing job. The story, fantastic, so much fun. But again, as a once and future, it's barely progresses it again. It's just throwing us to another. It's just like it's essentially it's just another MacGuffin to another MacGuffin. Sorry, your princess is in another castle.
And pardon me. And introduces the concept that allows Christopher Eccleston in the next one.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is weird. Now the thing is, the end of this story sets up that the Doctor needs to go to the Union.
Yeah,
it needs to either go, if it's like a place or whatever, it needs to find the Union because it'll help him understand what's going on with him or give him the answers. Now the thing is, on Big Finish on the site, the next story is supposed to be the Union.
Memorial.
No, it's on their listing from like first to last. It goes Martian Invasion, the Union, then Time Lord Immemorial. But if you actually click on them, Time Lord Immemorial is the 6th release. The Union is the 7th. Now, my concern is Time Lord Immemorial, much like Genies for War, has nothing to do with Once and Future. It is an entirely standalone story.
So I thought the Master Missy might go with the Doctor at the end because who's in the next one?
Yep.
Yes, that baby's still suffering from the effects of degeneration. I don't know. It's a little weird.
So unless they're going to correct themselves on it,
I don't think they are.
So if Time Lord Immemorial is the next story,
I mean, it makes more.
It's another
Genius.
It's another Genius for War where it's like, yeah, this could be a really good story, but it has nothing to do with Once and Future.
Yeah,
I don't know because that Coda is still set to release next year, and I'm hoping that's not the case.
I think it's the case. I think we have to come to terms.
This is though, but like next.
This is fluff. It's fun. It's to celebrate it by highlighting characters.
To celebrate the 60th anniversary next year.
I don't know why that's happening.
That has to be an error. Well, considering they've had 3 years to plan this, they've been doing this for 3 years, and none of them sat down and thought, "Yeah, shouldn't we actually
if you listen again to the extended interviews, the writing for this episode took a lot of twists and turns. Even though it's the first one recorded and all that, it took a lot of twists and turns. It was always written for the 60th. The writer is sure of that. But with how COVID came into the picture, screwed things up, and how much time they had in between planning and stuff and actually getting down how we're going to do this, it was supposed to be a different Doctor altogether. He revealed.
I feel like it was supposed to be one.
Well, no, he says it was always one in somebody else, but he can't remember which Doctor. He can't remember which Doctor was written for. But they're obviously happy with David there, but yeah. So I don't know. It's weird.
Like, but still, like, even in the planning stages, I feel like someone should have said, "Hey, you know this degeneration plot? Can we actually put some meat to it?"
I think it's just for fun. It's just for fun, Chris. It's just for fun.
Then these should have just been standalone stories. That just like let's have classic meet New Who, or like different parts of New Who meet New Who, or different parts of classic meet classic. Just a mix up of just like just these fun ideas to celebrate 60 years of Doctor Who.
Yeah, but how would you explain the fun idea? The explanation is here.
Just tweak just tweak the degeneration. Just don't have it in there. They're just standalone stories, and just explain how this has happened.
Well, how they're going to explain it at the end is that obviously nobody can remember this. Nobody will remember this.
Yeah,
but you can't do that 8 times over. That's why it has to be the one story, because they have to do it at the end, because otherwise it's just you have a bunch of, I'm the 10th
then again,
Doctor.
My counter argument is A Genius for War, which has nothing to do with it. To the point where even in the story, the Time Lords are like, yeah, we know what's happening to you. We don't care. Yeah. We're a bit busy right now, so oops, sucks to be you, Doctor, but you need to do this for us.
Actually, somebody on the Doctor Who Discord had listed out everything that we know thus far from these stories, and actually it was a lot more information than I realized of what we know what's happening. But they point out that the Time Lords actually don't know what's happening exactly. They claim that, but at the end, after the Doctor's gone, they're like, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what happens.
No, they know what's happening to them. They just don't know what caused it, and they don't want to because they're a bit busy.
Time War.
Sorry, but no, like I feel like these should have just been like just one-off fun stories. Just tweak stuff to make a bit more sense. Like you could still have like having 7 just thrust into the Time War. That's a great idea just by itself. But it's only contained to like Davros. Like Davros says, I want the Doctor, but I want a specific Doctor to rescue me.
Yeah, but it's still...
Or Two's Company, where 6 returns just by himself, returns to Earth, finds out someone's posing as him.
But that's the thing. It's the whole point of the event is that yes, it's these faces going through these weird situations that they couldn't normally, but the degeneration is really the tool that allows the weirdness. You can't do that a bunch of times without it. It feels far too gimmicky if you keep doing it. If you have 6 with Jackie and in facing the 2, whereas he's trying to find a lead here, he's trying, and he does with the 2, doesn't he? What kind of,
yeah.
And that leads to Planetoid 50. It's again, it introduces a new concept, which is re-degenerating, which is silly, but it's allowing for stories that you could not have happen otherwise. Because it doesn't fit with the timeline.
I'm just tired of it. Just the constant, your princess is in another castle every release. Oh, this lead will go to another lead, which goes to another lead. It's like...
Well, there's only 3 more stories.
I think that's the problem with it stretching to be 8 stories, is that it has to force itself to do this in order for it
should have been a one release. It should have been one, just like...
Should have been one big release.
Legacy of Time was that way, right?
Yeah, Legacy of Time, I think, was like 6 stories.
And it was all in one package deal.
Well, the last story is the one where it's like, let's get all the Doctors together.
Yeah, but I mean, it was sold together. It was sold as one. They should have done that for this. And I understand wanting to... Maybe it was influenced by RTD more than Big Finish themselves, wanting to fill time, because that's what it's doing.
Yeah,
it's filling Doctor Who time while they don't have Doctor Who.
They've done a essentially multi-Doctor story arc with a mystery behind it that takes a while to be solved, and that was during the monthly range, the Locum Doctor arc, where 7, 6, and 5 found themselves replacing 3, 2, and 1 at this certain point in their timeline. So they are forced to reenact the events to keep history intact. And the thing is, they don't know why this happened. And the thing is, it's only 3 stories, and the last story is the one that fully goes into depth about like who's causing this. See, that's 3 stories.
Yeah.
It works with a shorter span of episodes. It doesn't work with 8, and it's just a constant like you got to go to this, which goes to this, which goes to this, which goes. Wait, sorry, sidetrack. This has nothing to do with it. 3rd story, nothing to do with it. Okay, now we go back onto the story. This will lead to this. Will lead to this. It's just tiring.
Yeah. And
like, you don't have to give me the answers now, but you need to give me a bit more meat on the bone.
Something overall that's happening.
Yes, not just constant like setup to setup to setup.
Yeah.
Especially now that we are over halfway through the story, and we've gotten nowhere, honestly.
And right now, it's implying that we won't get the full answer until next year. So,
yeah. Who knows? But regardless, Martian Invasion Planetoid 50.
Good.
Fun.
So much good.
Great fun episode by itself. Once in Future, yeah, it's the same as every other Once in Future. Like, just really doesn't progress much. So give it a rating. As usual, I'm going to rate it on 2 separate ones because I feel like I have to at this point. You can just rate it singularly. It's up to. I can't remember what I gave the last one.
Because Two's Company, I loved Two's Company. I was so surprised that I loved Two's Company because it looked like such a mess, even with the 6th Doctor, who I love him. It looked like such a mess, but the story was so much fun. It was so good, and this is again that way. So I think as it's like a story. I could listen to this again. I could go ahead and turn it on. Just there's so much.
Honestly, so could I. Same, yeah.
So it's like a 9, 8.5 to a 9, but it as Once in Future is not finished yet. So that's kind of what we have to. What is Once in Future as a whole? It's not going to be rated highly unless somehow at the very end they go ahead and have this grand scheme that just retroactively makes all the other ones better, but I don't see that happening for the overarching story. So Once in Future is still at a low, but this story, it's honestly 8.5 to a 9. It's just that good, just because of how much fun it is and how much you can tell the cast is enjoying their time. And I'm glad that 1, 2, well, not 2 yet, but hopefully in the next one. But 1 and 3, they're getting some more time to shine within the degeneration.
Yes. For me, as a story by itself, 8.5 out of 10. It's a whole lot of fun. The cast is great. They work so well with each other. Even with like characters that kind of just there, like Jessamy. I was fine with Jessamy. I liked Jessamy as a character. A lot of fun. As a Once in Future, like with this overall story, probably 7 roughly.
Okay. So this individual story in the Once in Future, you're saying?
As part of the overarching like narrative.
That I mean, yeah, it has more to do with it than Enemy of War. Sorry, not Enemy.
Genius 4, yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
Enemy of War. 8 comes in. We still have to find out which Doctor it is. Is it War or is it 8?
I don't know, because they're both in here. They're both in the cast, aren't they? Yeah.
Jonathan Carly.
Yep, and Paul McGann, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, unless it's an error, we won't know till next year.
Jeez, that has to be wrong.
I know we're repeating ourselves, but that has to be an error. There is no goddamn way. They're like, yeah, we're going to finish celebrating the 60th next year. It's not even just like, okay, the story's so long. We released it at a later time. It went on for so long. Stuff has like pushed it back to like January. Okay, that's kind of fine.
This is why we
But,
should
like-
listen to the Big Finish podcast. This is why you get to hear Nicholas Briggs and I can't remember who else, but just talk about Big Finish for an hour.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But that is it for our thoughts on the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check into our weekly live stream. Check out any of my previous reviews, any videos that Pixel has done or will do in the near future. Redacted Season 2 just got announced, so you'll be getting some Pixel content for once.
Still more than Jimmy.
Still more than Jimmy. But that is all. We'll see you all the next one. Ciao.
Hello and Z.